Hey everybody, welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor, and it's been a crazy week. A lot of guys are being called out on social media. A lot of male celebrities. It started with Chris D'Elia, and then Ansel Elgort, and Justin Bieber, who started actually dropping literal receipts to hotels to prove allegations against him weren't true. And now it's starting to go into the gaming world with a lot of Twitch streamers, some YouTubers getting accused as well. Look, I keep getting tagged on a lot of them. A lot of people call me up asking me for advice, and I'm always happy to help if someone out there wants to talk. But it's weird because I keep getting tagged in a way where it's sort of like, I don't believe her. You remember Andy, what happened to him? And I got to say, guys, that's not what I want my message or my story to do. Like, I don't want my story to now suddenly negate any woman or person who comes forward with an allegation. Sure, look, in my case, a woman lied terribly. She really inappropriately lied. And because she lied, it really did muddy up the waters for a lot of people to sort of know, well crap, what do we do? And it just shows, though, that not all women are telling the truth always. But the reality is a lot of women are telling the truth. A lot of women come forward with accusations, and we got to hear them. But my argument is we got to hear both sides. We got to see if their accusations have any merit, if they have an proof, evidence and things that we can go. Because look, when you make an allegation of assault and other things, like it can really destroy someone's life. And what's interesting, and now in this new climate, people aren't taking accusations as seriously. There's a group of people online and stuff that do and write you off immediately. But I'm noticing it's not as vocally loud as it was back when I got, back in my day. But look, it's a very complicated subject. Now, I'm here to talk about Jimmy Kimmel because Jimmy Kimmel's now back in the news because they're trying to cancel him again. And I do have thoughts on that. But I do have thoughts on a lot of these. If you guys want me to talk more about these situations, because I know a lot of you subscribed because you heard my story back in 2017 and my resurgence and the facts that I dropped. If you want to hear more about that, let me know in the comments below. I'm curious. I probably would respond to more of these, but I would do them over my other channel. I'll put a tag over there. I have a new show called Tough Talks that I implore you go check out over on Hugging the Cactus. And I'd love to do more conversations about some of these accusations and stories as they come forward. But I really am looking for a female expert to sit and talk with me via Zoom, Skype, whatever. So just so I can get more insight, because look, I don't want to become a talking head that just says all women are liars. That to me is not helpful and not true. At the same time, I do have some thoughts and frustrations about some of the situations, and I would love to hear from a female perspective, especially if someone, a therapist, or doctor, even a lawyer. If any of you out there know of somebody who's out there, you've seen them on podcasts or stuff, and you want to recommend, I'm doing some homework trying to find someone to join me on that show. Or if you yourself are someone who would be a talking person who would love to talk about these subjects with me, please reach out. You can hit me up on the social media anywhere, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc., or try to the comments. You can all the Gmails even down there. So reach out at any point if you want to join. But look, tell me what you think about all those subjects. I'll get to them. But I want to talk about Jimmy Kimmel because, like I said, they've been trying to get him for a while. And there's a reason I'm frustrated with Jimmy Kimmel. Now, I want to say and preface, I don't believe in cancellation. I just don't. Even if he says some stupid things, I believe everyone deserves a second shot. Everyone deserves to right the wrongs and right behavior they did years ago in a different political climate than now, where it's, obviously people learn. And I do believe if we can't let people learn, well, then what kind of society are we? How is that helpful of a society when we just are throwing people to an island and they can never recover or learn or be educated? So I don't believe in canceling Jimmy Kimmel here, just so we're clear. I do have some criticism for Jimmy Kimmel because I do think he's a bit of a hypocrite. He's a bit of a hypocrite in that he's very vocal against Trump and that whole administration and just really the whole conservative side. And look, I echo some of his feelings, actually. I will reveal that. But I try not to be as vocal about it anymore. I try not to just lecture everybody on my political beliefs because they're my political beliefs. And I've learned a lot of people, a lot of smart people that I admire and have met and come close to and becomes friends with, they don't agree with me politically. That doesn't mean they're wrong. And that's the problem, I think, with the country right now, is we assume the other person is just wrong. And there's no sort of conversations or discourse to get us into the same place. And so the reason I mention all this is because Kimmel has been very vocal in sort of his more, liberal, feelings. And he's also, and so there's that. And he, sort of seemingly quick to sort of call out, Trump for being a racist or sexist, et cetera. And then he sort of ignores his past, where it's like, look, if you've been the host of The Man Show for as long as you were, and it is what it is, but you know what you've done, to come forward as sort of the moral authority and condemn others for actions that you totally did for years it's hypocritical to me. It doesn't make any sense. And then, same thing with the Me Too movement. He hosted the Oscars and did a whole speech about how we have to be better, et cetera. But literally the dude's, and I'm going to go through some of the examples, but the dude's been, this whole shtick was a pretty sexist shtick. It doesn't hold up today. The Man Show, which I found funny back then, it doesn't hold up today in today's climate by any stretch of the imagination. So it does just feel like he's pandering. He's humoring the new political agenda to stay relevant and stay in the Hollywood circle. Is really how it reads to me. And it just makes him seem, not as genuine as he was, Who's the real Kimmel? Is he different behind the scenes, or is he the same as he is online, on his show? I like people who are going to be more genuine, speak honestly, even if it's not what everyone agrees with. I prefer someone who's going to at least stick to what they believe in, right? And I just don't believe Kimmel does anymore. And so right now, Kimmel's under hot water because he was caught using the N-word in an imitation Snoop song from 1996 and impersonated comic George Wallace in 2013. Basically, Fox News found these two clips and are trying to bury him. And this comes at the same time where he was caught wearing blackface ages ago in a Man Show skit that he's still not apologized for. And all of this is just odd to me because a lot of people are calling out the fact that Jimmy Kimmel just announced that he's going on vacation for 2 months. And a lot of people are like, this seems connected. And I'll be honest, it does seem connected. It almost feels like he either knew some stuff was going to drop, or he just was like, I'm getting out of here so I can let this die, and then I'll dress it, hopefully I don't even have to dress it when I get back. People will just forget because I'm not online for a while, and my show's going to be out. But people are noticing this, and now they're dropping more while he's gone. And so now enough's happening that when he comes back, it's going to be sort of hard for him to just be like, hey, guys, anything happened while I was gone? And so, look, it's true. He did use the N-word in a song, and he imitated...
As George Wallace, the comedian, saying, I just want to say I had a great time, and thank you for inviting me, and what a great... okay. And now people don't know why they're getting calls in the middle of the night. And I went down the list and called every catering director. It's too small. It's down a big mess.
And nobody really had character of a large black Wallace.
So Adam Carolla, who also has said a lot of things in his past, but he owns it. I feel like he owns it, and that's just who Adam Carolla is. It talks about how, you're doing your black voice is what sort of, so he's getting called out for doing a black voice. And then back in the day on Kevin and Bean's Christmas albums, they were a radio show back in LA, and they put on some really crazy Christmas albums with bands and then comedy sketches that were always really out there raunchy. Jimmy Kimmel was on it, and he does a Snoop Dogg parody where he's rapping in sort of a Snoop Dogg voice. And he drops a few N-words throughout with, it doesn't matter how he says it, but with the A, not the hard ER. If some it doesn't matter, some it matters. Either way, it was just sort of a bad look. Why do it? I'm not cool with saying it. I've never said it. I really avoid saying it. I can say I never said it because I make a point. There was one thing I was very good at. I learned early on. Just don't say that word. There's no need to say that word. It doesn't help. Even in any sort of context, it's not good to say that word. So I've listened and I have avoided that word at all costs. I just don't say it. So I don't want, especially if I'm being recorded in a sketch or joke or podcast, it just to me is like, why? What's it for? Why would you do it? You're going to get in trouble at some point. Even back then, I would say that was risky, but he did it. So now, it's all under flack. Add to that, obviously, also, the fact that he did this Karl Malone sketch a few times in full black makeup and a black, sort of a draw imitation of Karl Malone. It's none of it looks good. Let's be honest. I mean, Jimmy Fallon did a similar thing, and he had to apologize, and then he did, and everything moved on. But look, it just comes down to Jimmy Kimmel has been very adamant about going after Trump, conservatives, etc. He did this thing. I did tweet about this because it bothered me. He tweeted about this. Mike Pence was out delivering empty boxes, and then it was called out as if he was delivering empty boxes. And the reality was that was totally edited, and it wasn't the case. And Kimmel lied about it. And then it would appear VP was joking about carrying empty boxes for stage. Full video reveals he was carrying full boxes for a stage post. My apologies. I know how dearly this administration values the truth. He keeps hitting, and then, it's just why don't be a political guy. Just don't be a political guy. Just do funny or be offensive. But trying to be the moral authority and then, doing your racist jokes and your sexist jokes, it's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's going to get caught up. And that's what's happening. He's getting caught up in it. What do you think's going to happen? And now, of course, he's trending of cancel Kimmel. Does Disney support this? Time to call his advertisers. A lot of conservative people are coming up, and it brings up this interesting debate. He's a racist fraud. He uses the N-word multiple times. Let's give him a taste of his own medicine. Now the conservative base that he's always against and vocal for is just out for blood. And then it's sort of a test now, because will the liberals, will Hollywood, will ABC actually do something about it? And you got to say, well, look, they canceled Roseanne. They canceled Roseanne for a racist tweet of saying, took her out completely, pretty much destroyed her, and took that show away from her, and then got her away so she gets nothing out of that show she created. It's pretty crazy what happened for a tweet. Offensive or not, it just feels like you could have still paid her and let some time pass, let her apologize, which she did. It's crazy. And then you got that on top of that. Kimmel's supposed to host the Emmys this year, and Kevin Hart was fired for his old, homophobic stuff from ages ago. So look, I don't believe Hart. I don't believe Kevin Hart. I don't believe Roseanne should have lost their gigs, and I don't believe Jimmy Kimmel should lose their gig. Just so I'm very clear. But this hypocrisy is so silly. It's so silly. I mean, it's insane how the liberal side, liberal Hollywood side sort of, cancels people, joins the mob, and then don't remember or realize, oh yeah, I guess I should be careful because I could be next. They just don't even realize it. And it's happening now more than ever. It's happening more crazy. A lot of people online are getting called out, and they're getting called out for things that sometimes you're just wondering, like, well, wait, what did he do? He flirted with somebody. Okay. Well, wait, and there is a little bit of power dynamics, and each is a case by case, but it's getting to a point where it is getting a little crazy. And I know there's men out there who are getting nervous again. They're like, oh no, it's back. I got through it last time. What am I going to do now? And the reality is there's a lot of scumbags out there that should be called out for some of their scumbag ways. Again, doesn't mean they need to be canceled, but it means they need to be held accountable for actions that were improper, right? There's being called out for things you've done. And there's cancellation, in my point. They're two different things. Cancellation is you can't earn a living again. You cannot be spoken about. You are pushed out of this whole world. You do not belong here. You do not belong to come back. We are removing you from our society. That's cancellation to me. And that's what happened to me, and that's what happened to a lot of people. It is absolutely a thing. And yes, some people see me coming back and saying, oh, Andy's not canceled. And they just couldn't understand it for a second that that's not true at all. I was canceled, and I'm still struggling. I'm not complaining, but my point is I know it's a real thing that affects a lot of people. A lot of people out there are struggling and trying to just climb their way back to some semblance of sanity and, being a better person. And so in all these cases, I feel for them. And I do think they're a little bit lucky in a way that, now society, thanks to stories like mine, society's at least pausing and saying, all right, well, look, I hear you, accuser, but I got to hear more from him. I got to make sure I have all the facts before I rush to cancel him. And I say good on that. That is, if we've at least gotten to that point, then great. But there's always going to be extreme sides of both ways on Twitter, trying to cancel or whatnot, or ignore someone who actually is a victim. And we got to be careful of it. It's something we got to be careful of. So look, this is a topic that's going to keep happening for a while. And look, to Kimmel, regarding Kimmel's sort of, story here, it's like you can't go and support Me Too and become this vocal supporter when, dude, the Man Show does not hold up, man. I think it's funny, but you should not be the moral equivalent for Me Too support. You just shouldn't, unless you're going to come out and apologize and condemn all this. You don't get to be the authority. That's just my opinion on this. And again, I don't say that from, oh, Kimmel should be gone because he's a hypocrite and cancel him. No, I just say, dude, come on. Just stop doing the politics. Stop being a Me Too spokesman. Just be you. Be Kimmel again. Be funny. But he can't because he's on ABC. He's late night. He's got to please that whole camp. So it is what it is. But I do have to call it out when I see it. And I think he's got to do the playbook. He's got to do the apology. He's got to actually mean it. He can't do it sarcastically. Otherwise, I don't see how it's any right for Kevin Hart, Roseanne to be punished and not Kimmel. If Hollywood is going to eat their own, that's how it works, right? You got to follow the same rules or don't do them. Ideally, we would not do them. But then we got to remember if they don't cancel Kimmel, which, again, I hope they don't, then we got to remember that and say, well, wait, Kimmel got away with that for old things that resurfaced, so he didn't even apologize. So we cool now? Are we cool now, Hollywood? Am I cool now? Am I allowed to come back? Film Twitter? No, I'm not. But I'm happy to be over here doing my own thing. Thank you guys so much for supporting. Again, go check out Hugging the Cactus Tough Talks. If you are a female expert out there, therapist, lawyer, counselor, anything, please, if you'd like to talk about some of these issues and challenge me, please, I beg you, bring it over. I am open to these conversations. I want to have these tough talks. So check it out. You can hit me up on social media, emails. Thank you guys. What do you guys think of this topic? Do you want me to handle more of these topics as they're happening? Hit me down below in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to engage, comment, like, subscribe. Thanks, everybody.